What's up, guys? Welcome back to the infamous project, plugging away at the shop here, and we actually have an original Canadian Mustang GT, aka GT Cobra. You can see some of the remnants in where the sticker was right there on the back. So for those of you that know versus those of you that don't know, you can do the research. For whatever reason, due to some sort of IP or trademarking up in Canada, the GTs before 93 were labeled Cobras for whatever odd reason. So you guys can look that up on your own time. But this is now a Texas registered vehicle. A gentleman up in the DFW area brought it down to me last week to give the car a look over, much like I did with the, Twilight Blue on Silver, which did a couple things to that. Right, the evaporator cord needed to be changed, fixed the door molding, and a lot of things that you guys saw in that video. I didn't bother filming any of that just because, well, it was pretty monotonous stuff. You guys have seen me take out enough dashboards, and I'm tired of taking out complete dashboards and changing evaporator cores, and that is why I have an introduction to make here. And that is a new member of the TIP team. If you want to make a grand entrance somehow, slide in. Boom! There he is. So this is Andrew. You might recognize him from such tip videos as delete my resonators and mufflers on my M5, create a HXX pipe for foxbody, numerous tips.
Super Duty. That was fun.
Lots of interesting and cool stuff that Andrew's tinkered around with, but at the end of the day, he was tired of dealing with people with M5s that want muffler deletes.
Mostly him. What did you have, 3 times? 3 times we did that exhaust?
You know, third time's the charm.
Yeah, it's great.
So here we go. So he is now on board. He's, I guess, technically in training. Loves automotive. You want to give a little spiel about yourself?
Sure. A lot of you guys know me from making loud exhaust. I've worked on cars pretty much my whole life. Used to do a lot of exhaust work for Chris, and, you know, 2 and 2 make 5. So here I am.
There he is. He's going to kind of watch as we go over this car. So he knows what a foxbody is. He knows what Mustangs are, but, you know, it's getting really intimate with these cars. It's really important. So if you guys notice, I wasn't lying here. We got kilometers on the dash. This car actually has 88,000 original kilometers, because in Canada, they actually had the 100,000th digit. Whereas I think other than New York State, all the American cars, they were rolling over at 100,000 miles, which always led to mileage indiscrepancies and people trying to lie and all that good stuff. But a Canadian car, it's a little bit more challenging to get away with. So 88,000 kilometers, which probably translates to 50 odd some thousand miles. I'll do the conversion and stick it down below. And we are I don't know which official gray color this is, but gray on titanium, which is pretty popular. We got the factory blue pinstripe. And at first glance, this car seems to be quite original in terms of the paint and everything else. You know, the quarter window moldings are actually in good shape. These, as we know, typically pit. And that is the one advantage to some Canadian cars, is that while up in Canada during the winter months, these cars typically, if they were treated well, which this one seems to be an example of that, they went away for the winter, which means they didn't get continued sun to bake out the quarter moldings. But with that said, the paint, which I'm not sure if it's a base clear or single stage, because this, I believe, is an 89, and it's sort of when Ford started cutting over and started using base clear versus a single stage. But one thing, someone put a COBRA emblem on, and then when the COBRA emblem came off, it appears to have pulled the paint, and I feel like someone tried to buff it, and that's why I'm sort of leaning towards, I feel like this could be a single stage, because it looks like it just lifted the paint right down to the factory primer. And Bobby came to look at it, and the problem with this is there's so many little spots. To blow in this, it'd probably result in clearing the whole fender. Then is the fender gonna end up being shinier than the door? Can we polish that up? And all right, we got the factory, little bit of stress crack here in the A-pillars. All right, this is where the factory has a seam here, and this is typically filled with lead and then some filler from factory. So over the years, stress, corrosion, whatever it is, will start some cracking and bubbling there. And very similar back here on the rear quarter panel. In this area is where the roof meets the rear quarter panel, and we can see there's a little bit of bubble action happening there. But you know, the car is, from a corrosion perspective, like there's pretty much nothing, like even underneath here, and we'll pop those open. But let's take a look in the door jamb area. See, that's nice and clean in there. Bottom sides of the doors, looks like the car had undercoating and someone cleaned it up until this point, but we have no rust down there. And this is a 1D paint code. So we'll look that up and I'll put the official paint color down there. And I lied, this is actually an 88. So we have a non-mass air car. So note to self, mass air came 88 in California. Otherwise, 89 across all Mustangs. So there was speed, yeah, there was speed density before that point. So if we pop this up, right there, we got a couple little dings right here. Something happened in the hood. And I was told the car did have a bra. That's why the paint's so shiny. Yeah, somebody did some lipsticking. There we go. And here is that factory undercoat that I was talking about. So somebody started wiping. I think he said, the owner, started wiping it. So started cleaning up all this area here. And the engine bay actually has a good amount of paint in it. You can see we got the VIN tags in place on the fenders and the hood. And we have it on the front bumper cover here. So good indication of all original panels and original paint as described. And it's looking pretty factory in here. So I did take a peek down, and let me grab the light. Well, you can see we got some leaky action here, most likely from that lower intake manifold, because I guarantee you that gasket has never been changed. And that's translating down onto the timing cover and water pump. In fact, the water pump looks factory and never changed. So other than someone spraying a little bit of a Lumi paint on the AC compressor, tensioner, and alternator, it's looking pretty untouched. Factory radiator in the car, right? AC condenser. Bet you that's the factory heater core, because, well, one of the clamps is original. So who knows if the heater core has been changed. I guarantee you the evaporator core has not. All the pollution goods are on the car. The motor mounts are, those are trashed. And I think he had mentioned those, or he told me about those. They are all cracked. So a good opportunity to change out to convertible style motor mounts, which are a little bit more durable. They actually drop the motor down a little bit in your favor, and it's just kind of the motor mount of choice. And look at this, still got the factory cherry picker hooks, right, on the factory exhaust manifold slash headers, if you will. So that'll be a question. Does he want to update those? I think he wanted to punch the cats.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm experienced.
So with that said, I think this kind of represents the outside of the car pretty well. The interior, right, as you can tell, is actually in really nice shape. The seat bolsters are good, right? We're not necessarily 50 shades of gray in here. I think just getting the detailer to come and hit this up would be more than adequate. It's got the sunroof bag, and he told me he did do the plugs and the wires already. All right, even around the sunroof here, this all looks good. This is a huge possible rusting point, especially if these aren't draining properly. But, right, pretty clean car. It's just a shame that COBRA emblem stuff on the side. And again, guys, here's where that sticker was. I told him just to go ahead and get the replacement sticker and stick that back on there because, right, it's true to what the car was. Not that it's a COBRA, it's a Canadian COBRA, right? So you guys can blast or be as upset as you want about the so-called Canadian COBRAs. At least I'm not saying that it's a COBRA promotional car and you know, there was only 10 or 12 made or whatever it was. There's a joke about that, by the way, inside joke. Yeah. So again, we can see here, and this is like pretty much smooth, so that's why I'm thinking, right, a little bit of discoloring around. So again, not sure if it's single stage or not. I'm kind of guessing it is, which, yeah, doesn't leave us too many options. But let's get the car up on the lift. We'll take a look on the underside. All right, welcome to the underside. Oh, there's a rattle.
There's your problem.
Yeah, the old heat shields rattling loose. So we'll take a peek at the balancer here. The rubber in the balancer actually looks in good condition. So normally that rubber right here,
yeah,
so that will get cracked or it'll start puking out and it actually throws your balancer off balance, which of course you don't want. So it looks like we have pretty greasy looking power steering line, which is it the pump leaking down on the line? Kind of looks like it might be. So we're gonna have to give that some attention. Again, small drip and leakage there. I think that that's rolling all the way down from the upper intake or the lower intake manifold gasket. You can see it's kind of cruising down. The timing cover gasket all the way along there, and then I think ultimately ending up down there. Same on both sides. But oil pan, maybe a little bit leaking from this is a low oil pressure sending unit.
Yeah.
And then that's probably where the leak is. So maybe just a little bit on there. There's those motor mounts that are big and bulky, and those ultimately need to be changed. All right, factory, all factory under here. Never touched. But look at this, guys. There's like no rust. Canadian car, like no rust. You dry ice all this undercoat off and it'll look like new. Doesn't have a pinion seal leak, which is nice.
A little bit of scale on the drive shaft.
Yeah, all seems good there. It has a new fuel filter in it. A little bit of scale on the fuel filter bracket and of course on the differential, a couple things like that, but really
Not
nothing.
even anything up in the pockets here.
Yeah, this is a pretty tidy car. So shocks and quad shocks are all original to the car. The car did seem a little floaty when I drove it, so I'd probably recommend that those get swapped. We can see we actually got new brake pads hiding in here, which is always a nice thing. So there's those factory struts. So probably upgrade those. Looks like the castle nut's been off. Ball joint looks original, so I don't know if just someone changed the cotter pin or what happened there. Painted the calipers.
Exhaust is melting the fuel line.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
I don't know if it's
Yeah, I think we just kind of
move
need
it a little bit or put a sleeve on it or something.
Yeah, if we just kind of tuck that up a little bit. But yeah, looks pretty tidy. So lower radiator support isn't all bashed up. Usually people pulling up to curbs coming in hot, and looks like the radiator had has to be leaking somewhere.
Somewhere, right? That's a lot of corrosion.
Yeah, I think this car, just for peace of mind, I would recommend getting a new radiator for. The clutch fan is in good shape. There's no stress cracks on it, so that's fine. So radiator, lower intake manifold gasket is a start. In reality, the timing cover and water pump should probably be changed. And motor mounts need to be changed. Headers, if he wants an upgrade, and the H-pipe will come off, we'll punch the cats out. We're a non-emission state, well, non-emission county. Non-emission state probably from 25 years and older though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No, this is already grandfathered in.
Yeah, so, yeah, no inspection, no emissions. At least in our county.
We can get all this junk out of the way.
Yeah, so, oh, I even have the VIN sticker on the rear bumper cover here. So, that's pretty much it, guys. That's a quick overview of the 88 GT. And, well, quick little intro to Andrew here. And what we'll do is come up with a list. We'll get in touch with the owner, see what he wants to do, and go from there. We'll probably get a little bit of footage of this, or maybe Andrew will get some work done while I'm away at pits and see what happens from there. As we got a whole bunch of other stuff, Calypso and the Black Notch with the Godzillas coming up. The Black Notch is looking a little bit different here with the Celine front fascia on it. And this car is almost done. It will be featured at Mustang Week Galveston. That's going to be its, I guess, inaugural showing. And we got a Bimini coupe out here with the 4.6 COBRA motor. We actually have a teal COBRA hiding behind the door back there. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned to the channel. So there you guys have it. Quick little update what's going on at the shop here. So see you back next time on the Infamous Project.